There is a moment that changes everything. It doesn't look dramatic. It doesn't announce itself. It isn't visible to anyone else. It's the moment you stop checking. Not checking your phone, not checking feedback, not checking whether you've been received correctly, but checking inside yourself. Or rather, realizing you don't need to anymore. That moment is called self-containment. And it is one of the rarest forms of power in the modern world. It is also why the most endearing expressions of luxury feel so unbothered by reaction. They are designed from the inside out, not from the audience inward. Self-containment is often misunderstood. It's not isolation, it's not emotional withdrawal, it's not detachment or disinterest. Self-containment is coherence. And when your sense of self is no longer dependent on reactions, validation, mirroring, and external confirmation, you are with yourself first. And others will meet you there, or they don't. And either outcome is stable. This is the same internal logic luxury operates from. Luxury does not adjust itself mid-sentence. It does not soften to be better received. It remains internally consistent and lets resonance do the sorting. Most people are externally oriented. They're constantly scanning, whether that be faces, reactions, metrics, tone shifts, and engagement. This isn't vanity, it's conditioning. We learn early that being received equals being safe. So we monitor, we adapt, we modulate, and slowly the center moves outward. This is why so much of the modern world feels so noisy. Not because people have too much to say, but because too much is being checked before anything settles. Luxury does the opposite. It refuses to move its center. When your reference point lives outside of you, your nervous system never fully rests, your words start to lose their weight, your presence starts to fragment, and your authority leaks. You may still be visible, and you may still be admired. You may even be influential, but you are not anchored. And people feel that difference immediately. This is why luxury houses that chase trends, relevance, or constant reinvention often lose their gravity. Their reference point has moved outward, and the nervous system will always notice that. Gravity does not chase, it does not persuade, it does not explain, and it does not perform. It exists and things organize around it. Self-contained people have gravity, not because they're impressive, but because they are settled. Their energy does not scatter, their attention does not leak, their presence doesn't reach outward, it holds. This is why luxury spaces feel the way they do. The silence, the distance, the lack of urgency, they are physical expressions of self-containment made architectural. Self-containment can feel intimidating, not because it's aggressive, but because it doesn't offer easy access. It does not overshare, it doesn't reassure, and it does not soften itself to be understood. It simply exists as is. And that clarity forces others to locate themselves. Some lean in, some pull away. Luxury accepts both responses without adjusting. Confidence often performs. It says, I believe in myself. Containment says, I am with myself. One can fluctuate, the other is steady. Luxury does not project confidence. It embodies containment. And that's why it doesn't explain itself season after season. It doesn't react to market noise. It doesn't chase consensus. It remains internally referenced. And when you're self-contained, you don't rush to speak. You don't over-contextualize, and you don't explain your choices. You don't justify your pace. Not because you're withholding, but because nothing feels threatened. You're not defending a position, you're inhabiting one. Luxury operates the same way. It assumes resonance over reach, and that assumption is what creates their authority. There's a quiet relief that arrives when you stop needing others to confirm what your internal state is. You no longer adjust your tone mid-sentence, scan for approval, rephrase to land better with people, or over-explain to feel safe. You begin to speak from settlement, and settlement carries weight. This is why interacting with true luxury feels calming rather than exciting. Your nervous system recognizes that nothing is reaching for you, nothing is pulling, and nothing is asking. This matters. Self-containment is not being unavailable, it's being non-reactive. You can be open, you can be warm, and you can be generous. But your center does not move. You don't give your footing away to maintain connection, and neither does luxury. It offers access, but not at the expense of its internal order. We live in a culture of exposure. Everything is shared, everything is processed publicly, everything explained in real time. Self-containment feels almost rebellious because it refuses to externalize what hasn't settled internally. Luxury moves differently. It waits, it holds, it allows meaning to arrive slowly. There is a moment, quiet, uncelebrated, where you notice. You don't need to say that. You don't need to clarify. You don't need to respond immediately. And nothing bad happens. In fact, something stabilizes. This is the internal architecture behind everything we recognize as luxury. Power does not come from being seen. It does not come from being understood. It does not come from being validated. Power comes from being held internally, from not leaking outward, from not scattering, from not negotiating your center. Self-containment is quiet, it's subtle, and it is rare. And it is the internal architecture behind everything we call luxury. This is the luxury effect, where power is internally referenced. Preference is not performed, and nothing essential needs to be proven.